What's up, nerds? Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block for May 5th, 2017. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrigan. Alongside me, as always, the man who got dressed up for this episode with his tight button-up collared shirt on and hip hat. I don't even know where I'm going. Edward Parnell.
I want to pick up a turnip and throw it at the government today.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, my wife was talking about that today, too. Yeah. I'm just like, meh.
But we're here to talk about Nintendo video games. Yes!
I know. We're not here to talk about insurance. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about games, specifically Nintendo games. Ed, I have some exciting news for you.
Okay. What you got, Corey? Let me know.
I beat Spectre of Torment.
Yes!
I beat Mr. Shifty.
Ooh, yes.
That game's really hard. That game is really hard. And now I'm making my way through Blaster Master Zero in Mario Kart 8.
Yay! Yes.
And I'm working my way through mirror mode right now on Mario Kart 8, and I've gotten three-star trophies on everything up through mirror mode.
Ooh, you're dedicated.
So, I know.
That's awesome.
It's a hard life trying to 3-star trophy everything. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it on 200cc though. That's going to be rough. But oh man, so much fun. Mario Kart's so good.
Yes, it is.
But man, I felt really accomplished though that I beat Spectre of Torment. Man, that campaign's definitely the best of the Shovel Knight campaigns right now.
Did you put in the cheat code for it to do make it a little bit extreme and do the Mega Man hop, walk up?
No, I should have, but I wanted to do it the right way first, and then
getting to go back. Okay,
and I might go back and try it, but like I unlocked this really cool ability where I can ski on my scythe along spikes, so they don't hurt me when I land on them. I can just like skate on them. It's really cool.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so good. That game's so good. Anyways, what have you been playing, Ed?
I started up near Automata, and I'm going to have thoughts about it soon. But I can say there's someone at Platinum who used to work at Treasure, because some of the shoot 'em up aspects of the game feels like a Treasure game. It looks beautiful, don't get me wrong, but there's I'll talk about that more later on when I get further in. Wildlands, I've been playing, trying to finish that up. I really need to get through this game because I'm really stuck in a rinse and repeat cycle mode for that. Pokemon Sun, I actually beat the first challenge or the first trial. So now I'm working my way getting to the second trial. So I'm making progress in that game, and I'm going to be hooking up my Wii U. I'm sorry, everybody. I know I said I was going to get through Breath of the Wild, but other stuff came up, and I'm going to be popping it in, and I'm probably going to be playing it overnight tonight. Because I need to finish this game. I can't wait to get back in this world and just be like, "Hey, Corey, I know it's 2:00 in the morning. I know you're asleep, but this game is just so gorgeous." Like, dude, like, oh man. I posted on Twitter because me and Corey was talking, and we were just talking about writing and just being inspired. And Corey's writing his review for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm writing a piece about Breath of the Wild. And man, it feels like we got so much to say. Like, whether we speak about it verbally or if we put it to writing, like, there's just so much about that game. And I know we have our love fest about Breath of the Wild, but it's just like every time you return to it, or you have the urge to return to it, once you once you start that game and you move Link, it feels like a new experience every time.
Yeah.
And I don't really, sometimes I just don't feel that in a lot of games. And Breath of the Wild is just like whatever you play for 15 minutes turn into hours.
Yeah, like that game, I'm really excited because that we have some Zelda news actually to talk about
Yes.
later in the episode, which that's kind of like our main topic and how Nintendo's kind of handling DLC and kind of what we want to see from Nintendo's future DLC, as they're exploring on this new system. But yeah, Zelda, every time they jump in, like I played that game for 190 hours and I still want to go back and play it. I still want to jump in and play it, but like, I don't really have anything else to do right now. But like I miss that world already. Every time you jump in, you're like, oh, I can accomplish something in about 5 or 10 minutes, and you end up spending like 2 hours playing it. You're just like, where did the time go? I started out doing this one thing, and then you go off to do another thing, and you're just like, dang it, I forgot to do that one thing I started playing for.
Right. And there's just something about this game, just like, why is it just feels fresh every time you return to it. And I know I put it down to play other games, but I know it's just I'm gonna pop it in. It might be 9 or 10 o'clock, and I'm gonna look at the clock and it's gonna say 4 a.m. in the morning because I just want to explore and still do what I need to do. And I just can't help it. It's just that good. I am gonna get that Master Sword though. I need to work and get that.
Yeah, the Master Sword helps. It's kind of like there are weapons that are better, that are more powerful than it, but it's a solid go-to just because like it doesn't break. Like you need to recharge it, but it doesn't break. Yes. So like it's just an easy sword to go to, and it does okay damage when you're not around a guardian or around Hyrule Castle. Like it does good damage and stuff. So it's like it's just a good go-to. I used it mostly though for like chopping down trees or scavenging for materials or mining ore and stuff, because like it's just the weapon that does everything and it doesn't break. So
yes. So that's have you got all the have you got all the outfits that it has to offer, or you still could get more outfits in the game?
I have all the ones that you can find in the game. There's 2 things I'm missing because they're amiibo related. One is soon the other amiibo will come with stuff. So I'm missing Cheek's head garb, like with the face cover and the white cap that goes with the stealth suit. And then I'm missing the Sword of the Seven Sages, which is from the Ganondorf amiibo. So those are the 2 things that I'm missing, but I have everything else.
Is that from the Ganondorf? Is the old Ganondorf?
Yeah, the Smash Brothers one.
Okay.
Yeah, but that sword is really
Did you find one?
No, I haven't really been looking. Here's the thing. I am going to try to pre-order the Majora's Mask one and the Skyward Sword one at some point, just because those are the 2 that I need for the rest of the outfits for Breath of the Wild. But I mean, I've been, like I told you before the show, I've been trying to make a good Nintendo collection checklist. Like I'm trying to hunt down some stuff that I've either gotten rid of or sort of yard sale or fire or something. Like I'm trying to, I want a Nintendo collection just to have, not a big one, just some like essentials. And I'm trying to hunt down a Virtual Boy because I had one and I lost it in a fire. I don't know, 8 years at this point, but like, just a solid checklist. So I'm trying to put my money towards that instead of, amiibo right now. But at the same time, like a used Ganon amiibo or a used Sheik amiibo are probably like $8 or $9 by now. So like, I don't know. It's a process.
Yeah, because I got the Ganon and I got the Sheik, and I still got them in the cases, so I haven't taken them out yet. So
nice.
If it comes down to me shipping it,
no, don't. I'll find one. No, you already got me the NES Classic.
I said if it comes down to it. I didn't say that I will do it. I just said if it comes down to it.
No, because I know you. You'll just do it without telling me, and one day the box that shows up.
Oh wow.
Man. But yeah, and I'm excited for the lineup this month for Switch. There's so many games coming out for Switch. And we're going to talk about that later. I mean, outside of like, you know, the big games that are coming out, like Minecraft's coming this month. Street Fighter 2, Disgaea 5 are the three big ones, I think, this month. And then we've got so many indie games that we're going to talk about that just got release dates, and a lot of them are May. So,
yes.
I guess we can talk about big games coming to Switch. Yeah, apparently there's the Mario Rabbids thing is picking up steam again. The Ubisoft joint collaboration RPG for Switch. I am convinced it's real. I'm not convinced it's going to be good.
I don't think it's. Until I see something at E3. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's. I don't think it's real. I think it's made up. Ubisoft is not known for working.
The thing is though about it is that Kotaku received art assets from a source for this game. So that's like the one big thing that's pointing to it being more real than not.
I don't believe it. I still don't believe it because Ubisoft is not known to work with Nintendo on that level.
I don't know. I'm interested.
Literally, where is that Rayman amiibo that they showed when they first showed Rayman Legends?
You can't do a Rayman amiibo. He doesn't have any arms or legs.
I mean, and that's fine. But the thing about it is they showed it. Like, if Ubisoft was so tight with Nintendo to make a crossover game like that, it would have already been done. You know.
Yeah.
Square Enix. Oh, go ahead, Corey.
I'm just saying, like, another thing is, like, if this thing is really happening this year and it's supposed to come out in August or September, which would fill that gap of game, you know, because Nintendo's missing, and according to our fake roadmap that we made the last couple weeks, like they're missing an August game, and if this game's supposed to come out in August or September, like, kind of feel like they would have shown it already, especially to get third parties on board with Switch. Don't you think they would have announced, hey, we're partnering with a major third party to give us a game? And like, I know they already announced Bethesda bringing Skyrim over, but like, this is a new game with a big third party, you know?
Right, and a game like this would have been on Wii U, because my thing is, why would I want a game with the rabbits when I know Mario Galaxy is coming out?
Yeah, why would you put out two Mario games in the same year? Right,
and is Ubisoft going to market that game for Nintendo if that ever happens? Because Nintendo's going to be marketing Odyssey. Yeah. More than they're gonna market you know, where Mario being, and you know, and Ubisoft is not really known to make like I've said to Corey, and you know, Child of Light is kind of the only RPG that I could think of, a traditional RPG that I could think of in that realm of role-playing games. And South Park, that one. But I'm like, it's only those two.
The other thing that worries me about this too is that if it is real, that means Ubisoft's not porting their bigger games to the Switch. Like they're not going to bring their bigger games to Switch. They're just going to.
I don't think I don't even think any of the Western third party wants to bring their big games to Switch. So that's more money. So that's more money that they're going to lose out.
Yeah. What did I tell you? Like, what did I tell you? Like last week or 2 weeks ago, the week that whatever week Call of Duty was announced, like that was the game. I was like, if Call of Duty is not being ported to Switch, then nothing's coming to Switch because that's the biggest game. And if they're not going to waste their time porting it to a platform, then I don't know how third parties are going to bring games. And we already saw that Darksiders 3 isn't coming to Switch as of right now. They said they're looking into it, but I mean, how many times have we heard that?
Right.
I mean, think not that I really like need those games on Switch because like Nintendo's already proven that they're providing us with the software every month. But like, I don't know. It just always feels like everybody's like, oh, they're bringing these games to major consoles. Well, according to analysts, like this is going to sell somewhere between 70 and 100 million units. Like, a lot of analysts say that it actually might be on track to sell as many as the Wii. So like, I don't know. It's just weird.
It's the thing about it is like we always have this discussion. Big third parties think that they major titles is still gonna make the money, but they still stuck in selling only maybe 1 million across 2 platforms and PC. So that makes up that million for that company. But the thing about it is that if you look at Nintendo, people are buying almost every game that comes out for Switch. So that's good in the first place, and they're not seeing that. What has anyone else been playing outside from Persona 5, Wildlands, Horizon, Andromeda? Those 4 games. Like what has anyone been playing anything outside of that on the other systems? Because people are playing Mario Kart 8, people are still playing some of the indie games that came out. People are still playing Breath of the Wild and showing it off.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still playing a lot of games and buying a lot of games on Switch compared to Xbox One and PS4. Who's playing any of those like big major games? And Call of Duty is so. It's such a safety net for them, for Activision.
Yeah.
Because when we was talking, you was talking about this is kind of like a remake of Big Red.
Yeah, like okay, so I mean this isn't really Nintendo related, but like Ed and I were talking the other day, and I read a story where this Call of Duty game is kind of following the same squad and kind of evolving the story from what was in release of Call of Duty, which was Big Red 1. And then I did a little research, not a lot, so I might be wrong about this, so don't come at me with pitchforks and fire torches and whatever, but like Big Red 1 was basically a remake of Call of Duty 1 for consoles because Call of Duty 1 at the time couldn't fit on the console, like on one disc for the console. So they kind of outsourced. I think it was, I don't know, it might have even been Treyarch that did Big Red 1 for consoles. And, so Big Red 1 is a redo of Call of Duty 1. And now Call of Duty WW2 is following that same squad and essentially telling the same story. So like they're literally going back to the first game and kind of remaking it for modern. Like that's kind of what I got from it. And like, yeah, there's going to be flashy and updated visuals and controls and stuff, but like that's kind of weird. Like that's just. That's just
I feel
weird.
like
And like I think Sledgehammer is a good, that team that came over from Dead Space is a good team, but like I feel like they're kind of wasting their creativity on making Call of Duty, and like maybe they're just like they're like, look, let's make Call of Duty for a few years and then we'll take that money and go start something new.
right. I think they're trying to meet and beat Battlefield 1 because on how I guess successful Battlefield 1 was last year. Um, so they had to reserve or resolve by going back to going to World War II. And I'm just like, we don't need another take on this. Like, we done this war. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, you got stereotypical characters. It doesn't matter if we're gonna play what the story's gonna be, because you're gonna kill all of them off at the end. And so it's just like, and then we'll probably have some basic multiplayer that the Call of Duty series is known for. So I'm like, why would we want that? To me personally, why would we want that same experience on Switch? We know that exclusives are going to be on Sony. It's probably going to sell better depending on how it runs on Xbox One. You're doing a zombie mode, so it's such a safety net because it's so paint by the numbers on this in this design. I'm like, do we really want this on Switch? I would rather have a Weird and Bunkers B-rated first person shooter on Switch that comes out of nowhere. And whether it's good or bad, if a lot of eights sell it and people get their hands on it, and just be like, okay, our style is good, story is bunkers, but I love the gameplay and it works, and they offer something new. That's what Switch owners like me. That's what something I would want.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is on Switch. If I'm not buying it on the other consoles, why would I buy it on this Nintendo platform?
Yeah. I mean, it's just the Call of Duty machine, right? I mean, it's not like Activision's trying to hide anything. They've always been up front and they're like, look, we only make games that can make us money every year. And Call of Duty makes them money every year, and they're going to put it through the machine every year until, one day they're like, oh, it's not making us any money anymore. Let's do something else. And like, it's on its way down, but they've found another safety net in Destiny. Like, say what you want about Destiny, like that's kind of been their safety net the last, and a lot of people like that game. And so I don't know. Activision just kind of puts their games through the machine and pumps out, whatever they want to put out the next year. And I don't know if they're trying to play catch up to Battlefield 1 or, Call of Duty outsold Battlefield 1 and Titanfall combined last year. But like the public's eye was definitely on Battlefield 1 and what they did compared to Call of Duty. Like, I think that's kind of what they're chasing is the story, not the sales this time around. And like now by putting it in World War II, like the story is like, whether it's true or not, and like this game's probably been in development for 2.5 years,
right?
And I'm not saying it is or isn't, but like now the story is in the general public eye. They're like, oh, well, now they're chasing Battlefield because Battlefield went back to World War I, so Call of Duty's going back in time.
And in reality, Titanfall 2 beat out both of them within story, gameplay, and multiplayer.
Yeah, and sadly sold the least because
yeah,
it's not Battlefield or Call of Duty, but I don't know. I mean, yeah.
that's the game. And that's a game that got mostly critical acclaim.
Yeah.
And so people who did play it was just like, they were glad that they played this game, that they rented it or they brought it. They were happy that they owned this game because it did something different, and it did it better than the other two.
Yeah. My thing is, though, I wish, like, I hope, like, the Sledgehammer guys, like, if they do, like, because that team and those guys in that studio are going to make the money from Call of Duty. My hope is to wrap this back around to Nintendo is after either this Call of Duty or the next one that they develop, take that money, leave Activision, form their own studio, and maybe somehow get in contact with Nintendo and make a Dead Spacey Metroid game. Just that isolated, stuck on this space station or planet, or planets or whatever, and just explore, find stuff. Because I think somehow, if they worked closely with Nintendo to do a good Metroid game, I think that the Dead Space team could have done it.
Do you think they have an ego to actually learn? That's my thing. Because my thing is
well, I heard an interview. With the guy, the three guys the three main guys of the Dead Space team that left to form Sledgehammer Games to make Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
They always said that they would love at some point to make either a spiritual successor or partner up with someone later down the road to make another Dead Space type game. And they said that they would, Call of Duty is a money-making machine, and they wanted to be part of that to make the money. So, like, if they want to make the money and then take that money with them, similar to what the guys from Respawn did, take the money and run and form our own studio and make the game that you want to make. I mean, I don't know how much of that is true and how much of it was just to blow smoke up an interview, but like, it was a really interesting interview. I think Game Informer did it.
But that's my thing. If they want to try to make a Metroid game, is their egos too big enough to work with Nintendo and want to learn? Because my thing would be, we are game designers. How to make American style games? How do we make a Japanese game? Like how as we as developers work with Nintendo? Because I feel like if they work with Nintendo, I think that would help them be better designers than the paint by the number design that they have for the rut that they have fallen into. And that might sound kind of bad, but if you're going to make a Metroid game or a Dead Space Metroid game, you literally have to sit down with Nintendo and you have to work with them. You have to come up with ideas. You have to allow them to correct some stuff. If they are inspired and be like, okay, you guys are on the right track, but this is some things that you guys to do. Hopefully they willing to listen. Okay, let's input this. Okay, now we see where they go. Now we understand their design. Be able to do that, to understand.
I think if they got the opportunity to do that, I think it's not going to be like the Titanfall guys who laughed when they asked if their game was coming to Switch, and like kind of because that was kind of like, I don't know, that was kind of unprofessional, and like I don't like the PR statements that people always put out that are essentially copy paste statements, but at the same time that was kind of like overkill. But I don't think the way Sledgehammer's developers handle themselves, at least in the Game Informer interviews, like, I think they are always willing to learn and do new things, which is why I think, Advanced Warfare was so, highly received in terms of Call of Duty games by fans, and why I think maybe World War II may be a little bit different compared to other Call of Duty games, is because they do like to put their own spin on things. They do like to go out and try new things, and they do like to go out and like learn different techniques to add into their games. So it just all depends on if the Activision anvil comes down and crushes their dreams.
True.
But I do think that, like, if they did form their own studio to make a Dead Space game or a Metroid game similar to Dead Space, not like a horror game, but they did a very good job of creating that isolated feeling, So I don't know. We'll see. I think eventually, if they did do that, hypothetically, like, that would be really cool. See, I don't know, because now I'm thinking like Metroid's kind of like the one series that Nintendo has that could probably benefit from some Western ideas, just based on the fact that it's a sci-fi game and not necessarily like,
but
you
that's
know what
the
I mean?
but see the thing about this, and I agree with you. It's a sci-fi thing, but too many Western developers think about the gun gameplay and think of maybe multiplayer. And I don't know if they think about level design. I don't think if they think about enemy design. I don't think of how they work on pacing, on telling, be able to tell a story that's going to be memorable for us to be like, oh, that was a cool idea, and be able for us to have a discussion. Like, I don't think a lot of Western designers who make FPS games, I should say, think about that stuff. Like if we go into and read about it, they'll probably start it about what the game is about as the story, but then we'll hear more about the guns. Hear more about the multiplayer, maybe some DLC and some weird PC thing. Like, we'll hear more about that. We don't never hear them talk about we took time out to read books and study space and get an idea. We watched some movies and did some research. We was going to colleges and having discussions with kids about space theory and stuff like that. Or, we didn't do enough research. We just made a game based off our gunplay that we think that we could sell, and the multiplayer is strong. Like, yeah. I feel like Metroid is more. I feel Metroid is more than just a game that, it's a sci-fi setting. It's bounty hunter, which is Samus, and then it's regardless of you want to have an exploratory or have it just with the shooting mechanics. I feel like Metroid is more than that, and if a Western designer is going to touch that, they need. I feel like they need to be able to tell a broader story. They need to bring in some new ideas, but they need to make it feel like involve a Metroid game. Still make it feel Metroid like a Metro game, but evolve it to where it's their own. So you could be like, well, I could see the Japanese influence from Nintendo. I could see the Western developers influence and ideas, and make them work. Yeah. But then that's why I said, do Western developers' ego will they bring that mentality down to be like, I'm willing to learn from one of the best developers, and whether it sells good or not, I got something out of them that I could use in my other games because I know how well this one of the best developers has worked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and like, taking all that into consideration, like, I think that from Dead Space 1 and 2, I mean, that first game was not about the weapons. It was about survival and exploration. And that's where I think like that team knows what they're doing. But like, I don't know. It was just a thought as we it'd be interesting to see Nintendo work with more third parties and putting interesting stuff on the Switch if we're not going to get stuff like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed and Darksiders and stuff like that. That was just like, I don't know, that was just a weird offshoot of the conversation.
Well, because the thing about it is, only reason I say that is because I see more success that when Nintendo works with the developers in Japan, they have more success and recognition than they do with Western developers. And I don't know if any Western developers, major third party wise, is trying to go to Nintendo to see if they could work on some of their properties.
Yeah.
It would be, I know people would say, well, why Nintendo not going to them? Well, Nintendo's not going to them because those Western developers have a mindset on how they want to make their games, and they're not planning to bring those games to a Nintendo platform, or don't want to bring their games to a Nintendo platform because of their business reasons or business logic that sometimes is not proven.
Yeah.
You'll port a game that's old rather than go to Nintendo and be like, we want to make something new, or we want to see if you guys got some IPs that you want to try out, and we want to help. Like, I don't see Western developers doing that. Or having meetings with Nintendo of Japan if they could get one, or even hopefully Nintendo of America. Like, I would love to see Western developers do that, not to show support to Nintendo, but to show that we are, as game developers, not only can we make games for Western developers here in the States, but we can make them for a Japanese market, and we can learn from the Japanese market.
Yeah,
because look at Nintendo, look at Breath of the Wild. They learn from Western developers, or they see the inspirations, and you see how all of that worked. And look how much Breath of the Wild not only so, but kind of changed a genre of game.
Yeah.
What Western developer has did that? If you want to say Grand Theft Auto, that's one thing. But Nintendo did. But Nintendo had Ocarina of Time, and that was on the N64.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just it's interesting to it's just interesting.
Even though we're talking about Ubisoft and the Rabbids.
I know. Man, I feel like the earlier these companies jump on the Switch, if these analysts are right, and like, who knows if they are, I could see the Switch selling over 50 million units as people start using it as a portable instead of, a console. Because I think a lot of people do see this as a portable, which, to be fair, I do too. I've played way less time on my TV than I have in handheld mode. But then, in a couple days, I'm going on vacation. When this episode goes up, I'm going on vacation tomorrow. But I'm going to have my first Switch on a plane experience, and I'm really excited, So I think that earlier some of these third parties jump on, the easier of a time they're going to have when this thing really starts selling, around holiday or when the next major release comes out. I feel like the earlier they jump on to learn the system, to learn the ins and outs of the system, the better their games will be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now.
And I think a lot of Switch owners will rather pay a new IPs. You'll be able to make more money off of new IP than you will be able to make money off of a safe bet. Like if Activision don't bring Call of Duty to Switch, if you want to bring an FPS, bring something new to the table. That's not going to be on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I honestly don't see a company like Activision
ever jumping onto a Nintendo platform. Like, they tried with Black Ops 2 and Ghosts on Wii U, and it failed miserably. So unless this thing sells bonkers numbers, I don't see them trying to port Call of Duty or Destiny even the next Skylanders. I don't even know if the next Skylanders will come to Switch. Maybe it will, because Nintendo's such a kid-friendly thing, but
it will.
I don't think any of their major franchises will come.
Well, the thing with Activision and all Western third-party companies is that they can't bring us less content or less treated and developed games like the Xbox and PlayStation has got it. It feels like the resources went more to those systems, and it feels like they copy and paste something to make a Wii U port, a Wii U version. And it's just I feel like you didn't give it a fair treatment like you did for the other systems.
Yeah.
Look at how Watch Dogs, what happened with that. It came out for all four systems, and the Wii U version got pushed back because you thought nobody really was going to buy it or anything. And then it came out, you could barely find a copy in the store. So I guess you got to buy it digitally, because I haven't still seen that game at even GameStop. Maybe you can order it online, but it's just you treated this game for Wii U like it was an afterthought. Even though your game literally got, even though your game, it might have sold well, but it literally got crushed by Mario Kart 8. And then people stopped playing Watch Dogs because it had so many problems and it was so drag and uninteresting. And you had all this controversy problems that people were having more fun with Mario Kart 8. Like if you was going to treat the Wii U version fair, it should have been treated like the other versions and got that love and care and development resources. And I think Activision and a lot of Western third parties don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is too, like, if people treat the Switch as like their second console, you know, beside their PlayStation and their Xbox, like, how many of those people, I don't know, it's just this hard thing to try to be like, unless people have the Switch in their hands and like know what the system can do and the convenience of the system. Like, I don't know. I think we're in a time right now too that like people like convenience rather than quality. And I don't mean quality. I don't mean quality as in like bad games or good games. Like it's the Netflix thing, you know, where like they sell 4K Blu-rays and 4K TVs and 4K Blu-ray players, and those will be infinitely times better than a Netflix streaming show. But the Netflix is so convenient that like people would just rather scroll through Netflix to watch something than buy a 4K Blu-ray player, 4K TV, spend all this money. You know, it's the convenience factor. And I really do think that the Switch has the potential to tap into that thing, you know, that thought process, because it's so convenient to play your games wherever you are.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle maybe coming in August. Oh man, wow. Well, Ed, I have some breaking rumors if you're interested.
Yes, tell me what is going on.
A website called Digital Times, which they have some track record of breaking news that ends up being real, you know. So Square Enix, as we know, has made a promise to focus more on the Nintendo Switch than Xbox Scorpio for future projects, you know. And they are testing Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts on Switch tech. This is the rumor.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Very interesting for that to be a rumor. I think because Switch can run Unreal 4, whatever their engine is, maybe that's going to be interesting to see. I think a lot of people are not really worried about it. Be like, "Ooh, those games are coming to Switch!" Yay! A lot of people want to know, are those games even coming out in the first place, and when? I think more people are more interested in release dates and more trailers of the gameplay than they are coming to Switch. I mean, it would be interesting to see if Square Enix can do that, and how well it could run. Is it going to be cart based though? That's going to be the question. And if it's not cart based, how many gigs is going to take up if it's a download?
Well, the thing is too that Final Fantasy VII and Kingdom Hearts Collection 3 and 2.8 are all running on Unreal Engine 4, which theoretically can be ported down to Switch.
Well,
theoretically. And this also reports that Square Enix's efforts are definitely starting small with Project Octopath Traveler. and I Am Setsuna, but the company is rumored to be releasing at least 5 games on the Switch this fiscal year, which we already got one, which was and we were going to learn more at E3. Yeah. In short, no Final Fantasy 15 ports are coming to Switch, but Final Fantasy 7 Remake is being tested on Switch development kits. So I don't know. It's interesting because that's one of the biggest games outside of Nintendo that is rumored to be coming.
Nintendo has made Square Enix a lot of money.
Yeah, and I think, you know, there's that big long rumor for a long time that Nintendo always felt betrayed by Square Enix when they jumped ship from N64 to PlayStation when Final Fantasy VII was coming out. And, you know, it seems those bridges have been mended because we are getting a lot of great stuff on Nintendo platforms. You know, we've gotten a lot of quality Kingdom Hearts games. We got the Bravely Default series. We've gotten some cool Final Fantasy experiments. And, you know, if this is real, like, we're finally going to get Final Fantasy VII on a Nintendo platform.
I think if they could bring us a sequel to The World Ends With You, I think that would probably be better. But if they bring it to Switch, that's more money for Square, because not only will people be like, okay, you're bringing Final Fantasy VII to Switch, can we buy the amiibo of Cloud? Or actually use the amiibo of Cloud, and if you can, would you make other amiibo? So not only are you making money off the game, you're making money off the amiibo. So that's more money.
That's
just getting like, whatever.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I interrupt all the time when I have a thought in my head. Just
my quick thing is that they'll make more money using that business route than they will on PlayStation and Xbox, and that will pretty much put Sony and Microsoft in a lot of trouble business wise, because it's gonna be like, well, why should I get it for PS4 if I gotta wait for the installation time, and all I'm getting is just that content? If the Switch is getting more content and with those nice amiibos, you know, that's money for Square. That's, you know, for a lot of content and stuff. But go ahead.
And what I was gonna say earlier was like, that's the only reason why I actually wanted to read the story, is that Nintendo is making 2 Cloud amiibo for Smash Brothers, and like, you wouldn't just make 2 different ones if, you know, maybe they were trying to negotiate with Square and say, hey, we know like PS4 is going to have a quote better looking version of this game, but if you port it to Switch, like, we'll give you some money and you can make cool exclusive things using our amiibo and stuff like that. That's what makes this story so intriguing, you know, is that, look, Final Fantasy VII is getting amiibo for Smash. Here's some money. Can we please have your game? Like, I think that's smart on both platforms.
Yes.
You know, so that's the only reason why I brought it up. I wasn't really going to read it, but that thought popped in my head that like Nintendo is really kind of pushing Final Fantasy VII a little bit with Smash, and now with the amiibo, and now these rumors are coming out. You know, it might be shown at E3 on Switch at some point, so that'd be cool. I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy VII fan, but if it came to Switch, I'd probably check it out. So, all right, well, Ed, there's a lot of indie games coming.
Yes.
Switch. You wanna tell us about those indie games that are coming to Switch, since you have the masterful list in front of you?
Yes, there is a lot of indie games coming to Switch. The one of the biggest one is that Cave Story Plus is getting local multiplayer, so you guys can check that out. I think that's kind of cool that they're doing that, so you'll actually be playing 2 players at the same time. One 4-player shoot 'em up, Switchbound. Is originally announced for PS4, and this one is being developed by Climax Studios. It's coming to the Switch.
Yeah, so a lot of indie love for Switch.
Yes. Another one is the Rhythm game Thumper. That one is coming to Switch this month, so you guys can check that out on May 18th.
Yeah, that one's interesting because that was originally a VR game, I think.
Yes.
And the fact that it's coming to Switch, I wonder if it's going to be touch. I wonder if it's going to be, I don't know. That's a game that a lot of people hold in high regard in terms of VR games, which is not something we hear a lot about. Is good VR games, so I think it'd be cool. I think Thumper looks cool. Just add it to the May lineup. Jeez.
Right. And for those who still own their Wii U, the game World to the West by Rain Games, they announced the Wii U port, but that's going to be delayed because they're trying to get it optimized. So they are working on that. So there is one more game that still is coming to the Wii U. They're trying to figure out how to have a smoother get it in a better state, and just polish it up. So they did delay that game that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the last one I have is Garou, Mark of the Wolf is coming to Switch on May 11th. That's next Thursday. It's a Neo Geo game, but it is out right now for PSN for Golden Week if you want to play it on there. The only thing with the Switch one, it doesn't have online play like the other games, but I think you'll be able to do local play like later on. So those are the indie games and kind of a well-known or not known fighting game that's coming out to the Switch. So there is a lot of Nintendo support coming to this platform.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to play my Wii U again, actually, because not really an indie game, but Darksiders, the first one is being remastered for Wii U, and it's coming at the end of the month. So yeah, that's exciting. On the 23rd, I want to say 23rd. Is that right?
I think so.
Something like that. So I'm excited. I like Darksiders a lot, but back to the indie games. Like, I love how, in between all these big releases, like, we're getting the indie games, and it doesn't feel like that we would always have, or like, it feels like everything is very carefully scheduled and not like, on the Wii U, we would get like a big Nintendo game and then 3 weeks off, and then, a dump of virtual console games and then 2 weeks off, and then 2 or 3 indie games would come out, and then, like a month off, and then we get another set of virtual console games. And like, it feels really good to see that these games are very scheduled.
Yeah, and it looks like guaranteed sales for the Switch, because a lot of people are picking up these indie games and enjoying them. They're kind of good. Besides the witch riding bicycle one, some people probably picked that up just for laughs. But most of the games that have came out for Switch that are indie, a lot of people have enjoyed them. Has been worth the purchase of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've probably played more indie games in the last 2 months than I have in the last 2 years, just because of the appeal on Switch. Snake Pass, Mr. Shifty. I mean, even the Wonder Boy remake. Like, I've played so many indie games. Binding of Isaac. I'm probably gonna dive into Cave Story when it comes out on the 20th. It's just, man, so many good indie games, Yes. And I like indie games. It's not like I'm against them or anything, but like, the appeal of them on Switch make it just being portable and being on the Switch. I don't know. There's just something about it that they feel right on the system, It's weird.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to explain, but I mean, I know what I'm talking about, and everybody's just probably being like, we get what you're saying. Shut up. So.
After playing Graceful Explosion Machine, I get it.
Yeah.
Like it fit, like I was into this game, and even I feel like, even if it came to the Wii U, I would have been like, this game needs to be on the go, because on how a little addicting and how just enjoyment it gave me a lot of happiness, and it's just like my shoot 'em up skills are coming back.
Yeah.
And I need a game like this to bring it back. And it just does it just perfectly. And to be like, you know what? Yeah, I die. Oh, I got to go somewhere. Okay, let me put it on and bam, be able to continue my game. Because what's going to end up happening is sometimes people don't realize that you have a need to still game when you get done with it. And the Switch kind of feels that need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's man, Graceful Explosion Machine's really good. I played a little bit earlier today. It was really good. It's really good.
Yes,
I like the, they call it a sniper beam, but it's really like this 1-inch thick beam that shoots across the whole stage and kills a bunch of enemies. And then like the swinging sword is really cool. Yeah, man. Graceful Explosion Machine. I think it's only like $12. If you own a Switch, you should definitely get that game. It's really good.
I keep forgetting about the dash. I'd be like, oh, I don't think about it. I'd be like, I could get everything. I mean, as long as I could dodge, just sit. And then I keep forgetting that even my regular shot is limited. And I'd be like, oh, dang it.
Oh, man. So good. So good. So good.
It reminds me of Muramasa's The Demon Blade, how that game mechanic is. You have 3 blades and you have to switch it because they each have a limit. And when one of them breaks, or gets to the point where it is about to break, you can switch to the next one and they'll charge up. That's what Graceful Explosion Machine kind of reminds me of, like switching off while the other one charges. Or regains its juices back.
Yeah, man, games. Well, speaking of indies, Yooka-Laylee is trying to address the game's camera issues and trying to make good on the game and doing a bunch of updates for this game before the Switch version comes out, because they want to make sure that version is the best possible. I mean, Yooka-Laylee got I don't know, got a lot of mixed reviews, I would say. I wouldn't say they were bad reviews. There's just some were a little more positive than others, and it is definitely an N64 platformer to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't mind. I don't care. I really want to play Yooka-Laylee because I still think Banjo-Kazooie is probably the 3rd or 4th best game on the N64. I love that game so much. And I really want to play it on Switch, and I'm glad that they're taking the time to try to fix it,
Yes.
I am a little concerned that there's no Switch launch date, or if it's even getting a physical copy, which I think it's going to get a physical copy. I think it's going to be about $10 more like all the other indie games, but I'm willing to pay the, $40?
Yeah.
For it. So I'm just glad that they're taking the time to fix the problems that people are having and actually, going to roll out a new update.
I think a lot of people, I think even with Ryan, when we were talking about it having that extra $10, I think it's kind of worth it. When you put the cartridge in and you see how quick and how instant you can go. Like, I don't know how long it's going to install on PS4, Xbox One, but I'm like, to put in the cartridge, the system reads it and you could just go. I think that's worth the $10. If my time is saved by installing and installing updates, if I could play the game right away, the $10 is worth it. Hey, people pay to do it on roller coasters. Why not do it for video games?
Yeah. Plus, if you're buying the physical copy, they give you a lot of incentive for that extra $10. Like, Binding of Isaac is $29.99 on all the other platforms, and it's $30 on Switch. But if you buy the physical copy, you get the cool NES inspired instruction manual with that, which has a lot of cool art in it. You know, they give you a bunch of cool stickers and stuff. I mean, it's not much, but it's a cool, like, I almost kind of like, hey, yeah. And like Puyo Puyo Tetris, the physical copy was $10 more than the digital version, but you got some keychains and you got some cool reading material. You know, they're at least giving people a reason to spend the extra $10. It's not like, oh, our game's just $10 more, you know? So
right.
It's cool. I think Yooka-Laylee, when it comes to Switch, will get some kind of special box and some kind of special N64 booklet. Like I can see it now. I bet the instruction manual is like this yellow rectangle instruction manual and has a lot of cool art in it.
Yes.
Like the N64 rare games. Like I just see it.
Having an instruction booklet, like 3 pages where it says notes, where you could just write notes and stuff. Like, yeah. And people have been really loving that a game came with an instruction booklet. Like that alone, a lot of people have been happy about.
Yeah. It's man, it's. You should see some of those notes pages, especially for DK64. Like, man, my note pages, I had ripped out pages and put them in the back of it just so I could write more notes down. It's so stupid. And like, you should see my Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time strategy guides. Dude, they are shredded, man, because I've flipped through those things so many times. I played Mario 64. It was the only game I had for like 6 months was Mario 64. And like, I had the guide and I played through and got all 120 stars 3 full times.
Wow.
On that game in 6 months. And I was like, man, that strategy guide was so useful, except for the time that I spilled a bunch of Dr. Pepper on it and I didn't know that it like got on the book. And so like some of the pages are kind of like stuck together.
Sticky.
They're literally stuck together. But yeah, it was interesting. But yeah. I think that's all of the news, except for our main topic, which is Nintendo's expansion pass, I guess, experiments. Well, first is the Zelda expansion pass, which we're going to dive deeper into, which was $20, and they finally revealed the first part of that expansion pass, which is the new map feature, which tracks everywhere you've been in terms of walking through the world for up to 200 hours of game time. The hard mode, which is coming, and the big part of this is the Trial of the Sword, which, if you remember in Twilight Princess, the trials for the Wolf Link amiibo, it's similar to that, but it's more of a survival aspect than it is of a battle through this. When you get to a certain sacred location, you can take the new Trial of the Sword challenge. Face an onslaught of enemies one wave after another. Link starts the challenge without any equipment or weapons. When all the enemies in the room are defeated, Link proceeds to the next. Clear all the trials, 45 rooms in total, and the power of the Master Sword will be awakened, and it will always be glowing power-up state while usable, which doubles its damage output. So that is kind of the main thing you're getting with this first part of the expansion pass. You do have to buy the expansion pass to get all the DLC, and the big one, which is coming in the fall, is the new story, new dungeon, stuff like that. But this is the first part. No release date, except it does say summer. I'm guessing probably a little bit after Splatoon 2 comes out, or maybe right before, I think would be a good place to drop that. So, and also you're getting a few new outfits, which are inspired by the past Zelda games: Majora's Mask, Midna's helmet, You're getting a full Tingle outfit, which sounds stupid, but I think the Tingle mask actually, I lied. Never mind. And then the Phantom armor from Wind Waker, you get that. And then a Korok mask, which is what I thought the Tingle suit did. It actually, the mask actually dances on your face when you're close to a Korok seed. So that's all part of the first part of this expansion pass. Ed, you're awfully quiet. Yeah.
Because when they mentioned it and they told it, they only put it in words. And now to see it visually, it's got people hyped. And I think they did a good job of just saying what it is until actually Breath of the Wild came out. And when people got to experience Breath of the Wild, then they were just like, okay, now I'm a little bit more interested in knowing how this DLC is going to work. They seen it and people are excited to play this DLC.
Yeah.
Like speedrunners. Okay, now you guys let's see what you could do on hard. And see if you could perfect that fight against Ganon. Like, is Ganon going to get, if you mess up, is Ganon going to get 2 hits off of you and you dead? Or like how challenging it's going to be. I know a lot of people are going to be trying to do that 45 level trials. They're going to try to do that because they want their Master Sword to be powerful.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm not so sure I'm excited for hard mode. I don't want to start a new game because, I've done so much already. And like, I don't know. I think the game's hard enough as it is. But I am excited to track down these new masks and armor and outfits and stuff. Like I'm really excited to track those down. And I'm really excited for the Trial of the Sword because I really like the trial stuff in Twilight Princess. I think it's some of the best parts of that game. I'll definitely jump back in for that.
I would love to see like 20% or 25% turbo boost applied to the game to see how Link attacks like faster. Like if the game was running a little bit faster. I kind of want to see how that would look. Kind of almost like DMC Devil May Cry. Like if you put it in turbo, the game looks good when it's like fast. So I kind of like to see that. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And people who have bought season passes on Nintendo games know how great the content is. You cannot deny that $13 for that Super Mario Kart 8 DLC wasn't the bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best DLC I think anybody's ever released. Like, it was cheap. Like, I know it takes a lot to develop that stuff, and I think that DLC was worth probably $20. I mean, you're getting a whole nother 50% of Mario Kart. On top of that, you're getting new racers, you're getting new karts, you're getting new car parts, 16 new tracks. Like, for $12, $13, that was a steal of DLC. And like, I know a lot of people are kind of always complaining about something, and like the big thing is like, oh, why are we paying for hard mode? You're not paying for hard mode. You're paying for the trials, and you're paying for the cool masks and stuff, and then you're paying for the dungeon and the story that's coming in the winter. So like,
you're getting a lot of content for a massive game like that. $20 is cheap. Don't forget, you was charged.
Look at The Witcher. Like the DLC for that was $20 and $30 a piece. You're paying $50 for that, and like, I know that this DLC isn't as expansive as that, but people gladly paid $50 for more Witcher, and like,
and Batman
$20.
Batman Arkham Knight, you paid $40 for that DLC, and they only gave you 3 hours for each of them.
Yeah,
maybe even less than that. And at first, they didn't even tell you what you was getting. Like Fallout 4, they were just like, just buy the season pass. We'll tell you later what it is. It still didn't show you what the DLC was until like almost E3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and then they made it more expensive because so I don't know. It's weird.
Like look at Hyrule Warriors. You paid $20 for a 4-pack of DLC, and not only were you getting characters, you were getting new modes in adventure, and with the adventure mode, new outfits and stuff. And so you was getting more of it, more enjoyment out that game, and it was like 4 pieces, so it was kind of like $5 per DLC. Like even Fire Emblem, like people was paying the DLC for that and got a lot of good content. So it's just like when Nintendo does DLC, not I personally I feel none of that DLC has been a letdown.
Yeah, and like, okay, so the other thing that Nintendo announced, speaking of Fire Emblem, the Shadows of Valencia, which is coming out 2 weeks from now, I think. That game is $40, and they're releasing a season pass for $60 or for $45. For 6 DLC packs, which includes 1 new character, like 5 new dungeons, because it is a game. Like, it's still the same combat, but it's a dungeon crawler. And a couple other like side stuff. And, you know, people are complaining that that's really expensive. But if you go back and look at Fire Emblem Awakening, that game had 2 DLC packs that were $19.99 a piece. Okay. That's $40. That's, you know, people paid it and they saw that work. And you look at what they did Fire Emblem Fates, which was you paid $40 for 1 cart, dollars each for each of the other campaigns, which was $80, and then you could buy the DLC packs, which there were 3 for $19.99 a piece, or, you know, they had smaller ones that were $1.99.
Right.
So like I think that ended up being like, I think there was $70 worth of DLC for Fire Emblem Fates on top of the 2 campaigns. So I mean, people are obviously buying the DLC, and they're offering you to buy the DLC if you're planning on playing Fire Emblem.
Right. And it's good promised content.
Yeah, like you already know what you're getting. Like they explain it to you. Like they explained it to you, and unlike other developers, and they laid it all out for you. It's monthly content for the next 3 or 4 months. You know, sometimes 2 packs a month. Like, I don't know. I don't think that the season pass, in terms of that type of DLC, if they're laying it out, if it's a substantial amount of content,
yes,
like I think it's fine. And I still go back to, you know, other than Mario Kart, I still think the best use of DLC was Borderlands 2 for that season pass, was $19.99, and you basically got triple the size of Borderlands for $20 extra. And like, I don't like those games have very mixed audiences, but like you can't deny that is a good chunk of content for $20. And, you know, yes, Nintendo with Mario Kart for 13, and I still think Zelda for 20 is going to be really worth it, especially that story expansion coming in the fall. And a lot of people are kind of mad about this Fire Emblem stuff, and I'm like, who cares? If you don't want it, don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Like that game's gonna be big anyway. So yeah. Yep. Man.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to Fire Emblem though. Just wish it was on Switch. Man, I am excited for Fire Emblem though. I'm so excited. I love Fire Emblem. I love Fire Emblem. So good.
It amazes me how a niche game that people did not believe in or didn't care about may had a turnaround to become one of Nintendo's major properties here.
Yeah, I would really argue that Fire Emblem is more popular than Metroid and Star Fox at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, I would definitely put it in its top 5. I think, you know, not including Smash Brothers and Kart, I would say like Mario is definitely number 1. Zelda is a close second. you know, it's a sleeper, but it always sells a lot. Like,
yes,
Tropical Freeze sold a ton of copies. And then Fire Emblem, I would argue Fire Emblem, you know, if you're not counting Smash or Kart or Mario Party or any of those spinoff things, like Fire Emblem. Yeah, Metroid has a bigger hardcore fan base, but in terms of sales and games, because like, remember, Fire Emblem Awakening was supposed to be the last Fire Emblem for a long time.
Yep.
And, you know, word of mouth spread. People started playing it. People liked it. And it spread like wildfire. Remember, there was like 3 months where you could not get a physical copy of that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was lucky. I found one physical copy at Best Buy when that game came out. One. And that was like a week after it came out, because why didn't I think I was on vacation the week it came out. So I ended up canceling my pre-order because, you know, GameStop only holds your pre-order for 48 hours. And so I ended up canceling it and putting it towards something else. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to sell that well because it's Fire Emblem. And then, you know, I searched for like 3 days for that thing.
Yeah, I literally had to order my Fire Emblem online because all the stores everywhere were sold out.
It's almost like we're getting too much Fire Emblem now. Like, we got, you know, arguably 3 games last year. Well, you know, 1 game with 3 campaigns.
Yeah.
And then we're getting Fire Emblem for 3DS, and then we're getting Fire Emblem Warriors, and then next year we're getting Fire Emblem for Switch. Yes.
That is true.
And then we got Fire Emblem Heroes on phone too. So like, it's just like, man, that's, I don't want it to get oversaturated where people aren't excited for it anymore. But at the same time, still excited. Still excited. As a fan of the series, I'm excited. As someone who's looking at it from, you know, the big picture sort of thing, I think we need to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, don't go too fast. But yes, I agree.
I always try to look at it from both sides, trying at least. But secretly, Nintendo, give me more Fire Emblem.
Nintendo, space it out. Ugh. Keep calm. You know, after the one come out for Switch, the last one, Fire Emblem, don't announce another one. Give it 2 years. Let it build. And then bring it out.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, Ed, since we have to record another episode, call this episode right here. And then everybody get some water, go pee, eat some pizza.
Pizza.
And then we'll reconvene in about 5 minutes. Oh, Ed, where can we find you on the internet?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode, and you can hear my podcast Optional Opinion at the AnomalousRadioNetwork.podbean.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and other podcast apps. You can also check out my other podcast, World 101 Podcast, at ShoutsEngine.com. Also check out NGR Radio Network with this episode. By the time this episode come out, my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild blog will be out, and I hope you guys do check it out and read it on ngrradio.com.
Yes. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Corey Hudson in HD. You can find me on Instagram at Corey in HD. You can find blogs and reviews are going up shortly. You know, Ed and I are planning some Nintendo stuff when I get back from vacation, which is secretly why we're recording another episode right after this. So you guys will have something to watch and listen to next week. Yeah, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Nintendo Power Block. You can also join the NGR Radio Facebook group. You know, we're in both of those. Let's see what else. NGRradio.com. Download, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff if you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, we love you.
Bye, everybody.